In the spotlight tonight is Mark Grant from Bromley, an accountant. His specialist subject is the city churches of Sir Christopher Wren. Ian Mackillop from Ilminster, a pharmacist, whose subject is the Sword of Honour trilogy by Evelyn Waugh. Peter Richardson from Knowsley Village, a retired technologist, and his subject, the life and work of George Eastman. And Isabelle Heward from Alkborough, a voluntary worker, and her subject is James Stewart. Hello, I'm John Humphreys and welcome to what are in effect our semi-finals. Each of our contenders tonight has already won their first round and the winner will be guaranteed a place in the grand final with a chance of becoming the nation's mastermind. As ever, all they have to do is answer questions on their specialist subject and then on general knowledge. 2 minutes on each. The pressure's on, so let's have our first contender, please. And your name is?
Mark Grant.
Your occupation?
Accountant.
And your chosen subject?
The City Churches of Christopher Wren.
Christopher Wren's churches in 2 minutes, starting now. Christopher Wren had which type of white limestone brought from Dorset to provide the facing for many of his churches?
Portland stone.
Correct. Which church came to be known as Wren's Lantern after he rebuilt it to be full of natural light?
St James Garlic Height.
Yes. The weather vane on the steeple of the Church of St Mary le Bow is in the form of which creature?
A dragon.
Yes. Which church in Gresham Street has a ceiling supported on 4 Corinthian columns and has been latterly used by a Lutheran congregation?
St Anne and St Agnes.
Correct. Which English sculptor who worked on a number of Wren churches also produced the bust of Wren, which is in the Ashmolean Museum?
Edward Pearce.
Yes. Initially patched up by the parish, which church was eventually rebuilt to Wren's design from 1695, later restored by Dykes-Bower after the Second World War?
St Vedast alias Foster.
Yes. What commodity was taxed on its arrival in the Port of London to provide funds for the rebuilding of city churches after the Great Fire?
Coal.
It was. Which Wren church that holds many treasures salvaged from other Wren churches has links with the Institute of Chartered Accountants?
St Margaret Loughbury.
Correct. In 1933, the altarpiece of which Wren church was reassembled and painted gold and blue by Sir Ninian Comper?
St Clement Eastcheap.
Yes. What is the full name of the glass painter who created the stained glass window in St Lawrence Jury depicting Wren flanked by his mason and master carver?
Christopher Rahir Webb.
Yes. What badly damaged St James Garlic Height in a freak accident in 1991?
Crane falling on it.
Yes. Which church in Newgate Street was built with external buttresses to the east and west walls?
Christchurch, Newgate Street.
Correct. Rebuilt between 1684 and 1686, which church of Holborn Circus was one of Wren's largest, being some 100 feet long and 60 feet wide?
St Andrew Holborn.
Correct. What was the surname of the brothers Thomas and Edward Sr. who worked as master masons for Wren?
Strong.
Correct. What is the name of the Victorian architect who restored the interior of St Michael Cornhill in the middle of the 19th century?
George Gilbert Scott.
Correct. Wren's Sir Christopher Le Stocks was demolished around 1782 to allow for the expansion of which institution?
Bank of England.
Correct. In which American city were the remnants of St Mary Aldermanbury re-erected as a tribute to Sir Winston Churchill after being damaged in World War II?
Fulton, Missouri.
Correct. No passes. You got every one of them right. Mark Grant, you have 17 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Ian Mackillop.
Your occupation?
Pharmacist.
And your chosen subject?
The Sword of Honour trilogy by Evelyn Waugh.
The Sword of Honour trilogy in 2 minutes, starting now. By what nickname are both Guy Crouchback and Apthorpe known by the younger officers because of the age at which they joined the Halberdiers?
Uncle.
Correct. What is the title of Ludovic's novel, sales of which in America enable him to buy the Castello?
The Death Wish.
Correct. Which song does Ian Kilbannock say the Trimmer used to sing to him about Virginia Troy?
Night and Day.
Correct. What's the name of Ivor Clare's Pekingese dog, the arrangements for whose safe conduct to his mother occupies him during a so-called flap?
Frida.
Yes, according to Ivor Clare, Julius Stitch's husband Algernon is keeping an eye on whom while he's in Alexandria?
The King.
Yes, what name did Guy's grandfather give to his house in Italy, although the locals call it Castello Crouchback?
Villa Hermione.
Correct. According to Gilpin, what was Caniai guilty of sabotaging while in a camp with the Jews in Begoy, which led him to being tried by a people's court?
The Generator.
The electric light plant, yes. Which sword specially crafted at the King's command does Ludovic go to see when it's exhibited in Westminster Abbey?
The Sword of Stalingrad.
Correct. What present does Guy give to Apthorpe when he visits him in hospital, which unexpectedly leads to Apthorpe's death?
Bottle of whiskey.
Yes. Who is discovered taking shelter under the billiard table at Bellamy's, despite being the most senior officer there, on the night the Turtles Club is destroyed during an air raid?
Air Marshal Beach.
Yes. What is Guy's one-word description of the novel No Orchids for Miss Blandish?
Unreadable.
Yes. What is being used as a ball when Guy hurts his knee playing a game of football that quickly turns into rugby?
A wastepaper basket.
Yes. When Virginia leaves the Kilbannocks' house, which two-volume book given to her by Peregrine does she leave as a present for Ian?
Horace.
Yes, Pine's Horace. Which of the officers whom Guy meets when he lands back in Italy had published an examination of certain redundancies in empirical concepts while at All Souls?
Joe Catamol.
Yes. What is the name of the prep school in South Sand-on-Sea to which Guy is sent after his elementary training with the Halberdiers?
Cotale Mara.
Yes. On which ship is Guy booked to return home from Egypt after his period of convalescence?
Ooh, the Cleopatra.
No, Canary Castle. How does Ivor Clare get D Troop into position so quickly when on manoeuvres on Mug?
He commandeers a bus.
He does. What does Mr. Crouchback say the Trumper's Eucharist is when it is one of the things that Tony Boxbender asks for in his first note home for the POW camp?
Hair oil.
No, hair stuff. When the Halberdiers retreat from the beach after their brief landing at Dakar, who is the only one of them to be injured?
Brigadier Richie Hook.
It was indeed, and you had no passes. You two have 17 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Peter Richardson,
Occupation?
a long-retired technologist.
And your chosen subject?
The life and work of George Eastman.
George Eastman, in 2 minutes. Which letter of the alphabet did George Eastman particularly like, describing it as a strong, incisive sort of letter?
K.
Correct. Who became managing director of Kodak Limited in 1900 but was later asked to resign because of his anarchist sympathies?
Davison, George Davison.
Yes. Who was the owner of the insurance firm that gave Eastman his first job when he left school in 1868?
Cornelius Waddell.
Yes. Who in 1914 devised the two-colour subtractive process suitable for portraiture that was marketed as Kodachrome?
Pass.
Eastman's friendship with which African-American educator led him to donate regularly to the Tuskegee Institute?
Booker Washington.
Yes. Which inventor sold the rights to his Velox photographic paper to Eastman for $1 million?
Pass.
As a boy, Eastman loved the adventure stories of William Taylor Adams, who wrote under what pseudonym?
Pass.
Which base replaced the highly flammable cellulose nitrate base when, in 1908, Kodak produced the world's first commercially practical safety film?
Cellulose acetate.
Yes. The Brownie characters of which Canadian writer-illustrator inspired the name of the children's camera first produced by Kodak in 1900?
Cox.
Yes. In 1929, the George Eastman Visiting Professorship at Oxford was founded, but of which college did the holder of the post become a fellow?
Pass.
Which factory in Newcastle upon Tyne did Eastman visit in March 1882 to learn more about dry plates?
Morby and Swan.
Mawson and Swan. What was the name of the hunting retreat that Eastman had built on a plot of land in North Carolina?
Oak Ridge.
Oak Lodge. Which British scientist did Eastman appoint as the first director of the company's research laboratory at Kodak Park, Rochester in 1912?
Mies.
Yes. What trade name did Eastman give to the transparent roll film that he first produced in 1885?
The American film.
Yes. What message was written on the note that Eastman left addressed to his friends when he committed suicide on the 14th of March 1932?
My work is done, why wait?
Indeed. In which present-day London borough was Kodak's first factory outside the United States, which opened in 1891?
Harrow.
Yes. Eastman went into partnership with which local whip manufacturer in 1881 as the Eastman Dry Plate Company?
Colonel Henry Alvar Strong.
It was indeed. You had 4 passes. Balliol College was the one we were looking for. Oliver Optic was the pseudonym of William Taylor Adams. The inventor who sold the rights to that photographic paper was Bakerland. And J.G. Capstaff devised the two-colour subtractive process. So there we are. 4 passes. Peter Richardson, 11 points. And our final contender, please. And your name is?
Isabelle Heward.
Your occupation?
Voluntary worker.
And your chosen subject?
The life and films of James Stewart.
James Stewart in 2 minutes. In which small town in Pennsylvania was James Stewart born in 1908?
Indiana.
Correct. In It's a Wonderful Life, what's the full name of the angel who persuades Stewart's character George Bailey not to commit suicide?
Clarence Peabody.
Oddbody. Which of his films, directed by Alfred Hitchcock, had the tagline, "It begins with a shriek, it ends with a shot"?
The Man Who Knew Too Much.
Rope. Stewart had reached which rank in the US Air Force Reserve when he retired in 1968?
Brigadier General.
Correct. In Rear Window, the photographer played by Stewart has broken his leg at what type of event, thus leaving him cooped up in his apartment?
Grand Prix.
An auto race, yes. From 1943 to 44, Stewart was stationed at which Norfolk Air Base, which was the home of the 445th Bomb Group?
Tibenham.
Yes. Which co-star in the film No Highway in the Sky later played his wife in Dear Bridget?
Vera Miles.
Glynis Johns. In which play about a temperance crusader did he make his Broadway debut in October 1932?
Coronation.
Correct. Which musician played the trombone in the Glenn Miller story, having originally been assigned to teach Stewart how to play it?
Joe Yuckel.
Yes. Which producer, director and writer, who was a friend and colleague of Stewart's at Princeton, first encouraged him to act?
Josh Logan.
Yes, Stewart first played the character of Elwood P. Dowd as a substitute for which actor in a Broadway production of Harvey in 1947?
Frank Fay.
Correct. In which film does he play Truck Cross, a cadet at the Annapolis Naval Academy with a troubled family background and a talent for football?
Navy Blue and Gold.
Correct. The Japanese film Africa Monogatari was shot in which country and featured Stewart playing a character simply called Old Man?
Kenya.
Yes. Stewart won Best Actor for his role in the Philadelphia Story, but for which film did he receive his 5th and final Oscar nomination?
Anatomy of a Murder.
Correct. What's the name of the has-been sheriff whom he voiced in the cartoon film An American Tale, Feval Goes West, which was his last film work?
Wiley Burp.
Correct. Who directed Broken Arrow, in which Stewart plays an army scout who befriends an Apache chief?
Delma Daves.
Correct. In which film in 1950 did Stewart become the first major Hollywood star to work for a percentage of the profits?
Winchester 73.
Yes. During the making of which film did he hear of the death in Vietnam? I'll finish the question. Of his stepson, Ron.
The Cheyenne Social Club.
Cheyenne Social Club it was. Isabelle Heward, no passes, 15 points.
Thank you.
So that's the end of the first round, a high-scoring one. Let's have a look at those scores. In 4th place with 11 points, Peter Richardson. 3rd place with 15 points, Isabelle Heward. Joint 1st place with 17 points, Mark Grant and Ian Mackillop. So the general knowledge round now, and if there's a tie at the end of this round, then the number of passes get taken into account. Let's get on with it. Let's ask Peter Richardson to join us again, if he would, please. You're the man who got 11 points with George Eastman, he of Eastman Kodak. But there was no Mr. Kodak, I gather.
No, he invented a trade name. It was pronounceable, unmistakable in any language in the world.
So he just made it up. How did he come by Kodak? He liked the letter K.
He liked the letter K, and he fiddled around with letters until that's it.
He was a very good employer because you worked for Eastman Kodak yourself for many years.
41. Look, I got the gold watch.
Ah.
And I took early retirement. It was very brutal, that. They kicked me out with a sack of gold. And I've been happily retired on a decent pension for 20 years. And it's because it was run on the lines that he laid down. He was decades ahead of his time in how to treat people.
In what sense? What did he do?
He treated them with respect, paid them better. Above all, he promoted from within. And he said anybody who wasn't pushing some of his subordinates forward wasn't doing a good job.
Now, you had 11 points. Let's see how you do.
Okay.
With your general knowledge, 2 minutes starting now. In which country are the wine-producing areas Constantia, Paarl and Stellenbosch?
South Africa.
Yes. What name was given to the upper garment worn by men between the 15th and 17th centuries, which consisted of a short, close-fitting, padded jacket?
Tabard.
Doublet. Sir Leslie Stephen, the first editor of the Dictionary of National Biography, was the father of which author and critic?
Pass.
The story of whose journey as a young medical student around South America is told in the 2004 film The Motorcycle Diaries?
Pass.
Which French designer popularised the little black dress in the 1920s?
Coco Chanel.
Yes. Which composer dedicated his Symphony No. 3, The Scottish, to Queen Victoria and visited Buckingham Palace in 1842?
Mendelssohn.
Yes. What common name is given to insects of the order Ephemeroptera, which are characterised by their very short adult lifespans?
Mayflies.
Yes. Who was leader of the Greater London Council from 1981 until its abolition in 1986?
Livingston.
Yes. In which Italian port did a ferry swordfish from HMS Illustrious severely damage the ships of the Regia Marina in a torpedo and bomb attack on November the 11th, 1940?
Torrento.
Yes. Carl Davis's ballet A Simple Man is about which Manchester-born painter?
Lowry.
Yes. Which former stud groom to the second Duke of Kingston opened the world's first bloodstock auction house near what is now Hyde Park Corner in 1766?
Tattersall.
Correct. Which type of boat takes its name from the Tamil for tide wood?
Catamaran.
Yes. Which term for the 1920s in America, popularised by the novelist F. Scott Fitzgerald, reflects the popular musical taste of the time and its associated lifestyle?
It's gone.
The Jazz Age. What name did the new commercial Doncaster-Sheffield Airport adopt prior to its opening in spring 2005?
Pass.
In which English cathedral is the world's oldest surviving clock?
Wells.
Salisbury. What is the largest city on Canada's Pacific coast?
Vancouver.
Yes, in an animated film released in 2004, what's the name, I've started this all finished, the name of the family of superheroes whose mother Helen is also known as Elastigirl?
It's not my sort of film, sorry.
Then I shall tell you, it's The Incredibles. Your other passes, Robin Hood Airport is Doncaster. That young medical student we were talking about was Che Guevara. And Sir Leslie Stephen was the father of Virginia Woolf. 4 passes altogether. Peter Richardson, you have 21 points.
Thank you.
And now Isabelle Heward, please. And I shall make the assumption that you're a great fan of James Stewart.
Well, yes, I am. Yes. Made some very enjoyable films.
Was he a bit one-dimensional? Didn't he always play the same part, that rather nice, slightly bumbling guy we'd all like to be in a way?
Well, there were some films where he was like that, but certainly his westerns with Anthony Mann, they were actually quite violent for the time that they were made, and it was considered quite shocking, and it did resurrect his career after he'd been caricatured as being nice and bumbling and slow-talking and stammering.
But the idea of him as being slightly bumbling and forgetful and all of that, there was something in that, wasn't there, in real life?
Well,
I was thinking about the when his wife had twins.
Yes. She'd had the 2 girls early, and the girls had gone home from hospital, and she was really quite ill. And he went to pick her up, and he said, "I'll get the car round to the front door of the hospital." And he got the car, but he got in the car, and he went home. He'd forgotten his wife. He got to, I think, a florist of photographers, and they said, "Oh, and how's your wife?" And he said, "Oh," and he rushed back to the hospital. And she said that was typical of him.
Right, you have to beat the score of 21. You have at the moment 15 points. Let's see how you do with your general knowledge. In poker, what name is given to a sequence of 5 cards of the same suit headed by the ace?
Flush.
Royal flush. Which British colony surrendered to the Japanese on Christmas Day 1941?
Singapore.
Hong Kong. What was the name of the first permanent motor racing track in the world, built near Weybridge in 1907?
Brands Hatch.
Brooklands. Which composer died on the 6th of November 1893 in St. Petersburg, just over a week after conducting the premiere of his 6th Symphony?
Tchaikovsky.
Yes. Which chart used to measure how well one sees at various distances is named after a 19th century Dutch ophthalmologist?
Snelland.
Yes. Which television chef began cooking at the age of 8, helping the chefs at his parents' pub in Essex?
Gordon Ramsay.
Jamie Oliver. What name derived from the Arabic for to decide a point of law is given to a ruling on a point of Islamic law given by a recognised authority?
Fatwa.
Yes. Mark Twain said, when angry, count to 4. What did he say one should do when very angry?
Count to 10.
Swear. Which French word for a crib or manger is commonly used today for a nursery where infants are cared for while their parents are at work?
Creche.
Yes. In To the Memory of Shakespeare, who wrote He Was Not of an Age, but for All Time?
Ben Jonson.
Yes. Which aviator took almost 8 days to complete the first solo flight around the world in 1933?
Amy Johnson.
Wiley Post. Who was nominated for an Oscar for her role as the ageing writer Iris Murdoch in the 2001 film Iris?
Judi Dench.
Yes. Who said in a speech on nuclear disarmament in 1986, I would die for my country, but I could never let my country die for me?
Bruce Kent.
Neil Kinnock. According to legend, the pasta tagliatelle was inspired by the hair of which daughter of a pope at her marriage in 1501?
Lucretia Borgia.
Yes. The gemstone amethyst and citrine are varieties of which relatively common mineral?
Quartz.
Yes. Which South African port was founded on the site at Port Natal in 1835 and named after the governor of Cape Colony at the time?
Port Elizabeth.
Durban. What's the more common term for the therapeutic technique, sometimes called stylostixis, which originated in China?
Acupuncture.
Yes. What kind of pistol, noted for its small size, was used by John Wilkes Booth to assassinate Abraham Lincoln in 1865?
Browning.
Derringer. No passes. Isabelle Heward, you have 24 points. And now Mark Grant, please. Now, an interesting fact about, many interesting facts, of course, about Wren, but one is that he was an architect. Well, nobody was trained as an architect in those days, were they?
Most buildings were built by craftsmen, masons, artisans, so they would have served apprenticeships. But Wren was a scientist, mainly an astronomer, a mathematician, and so I suppose he was applying it to a deeper level.
He was a well-born chap, wasn't he? So he did have a few advantages in life.
Obviously he was immensely intelligent and quite politically adept. However, he was well connected. His uncle was Bishop of Ely and a hardcore royalist. His uncle was in the Tower for 18 years, and so on the Restoration he was duly rewarded, and so his uncle was able to do him some favours. However, he only got the favours because he was so talented.
I have to ask you, what's his greatest church, do you think?
There's a church called St Stephen Walbrook. Even at the time it was recognised as a masterpiece, and Piranesi said it was the best enclosed design of a space, and Canova wanted to visit Britain just to see the interiors of St Paul's, Somerset House and St Stephen Walbrook.
A great man, and he did you proud. You have 17 points at the moment. The score you have to beat is 24. Let's see if you can do it with your general knowledge, starting now. According to the proverb, who or what is worth two pressed men?
A free man.
One volunteer. Which feminist writer read her poem On the Pulse of Morning at Bill Clinton's presidential inauguration?
Maya Angelou.
Yes, in the Eastern Mediterranean, the 5th century BC, by what name was a galley with 3 banks of oars known?
Trireme.
Yes, in the Star Wars series of films, James Earl Jones provided the voice of which character?
Darth Vader.
Yes, in which city is the Galleria dell'Accademia, the home of Michelangelo's statue of David?
Florence.
Yes, which chemical element with the atomic number 14 derives its name from the Latin for flint?
Silicon.
Yes, the slaying of which creature was the first of the labours of Hercules?
Kerberos.
No, the Nemean lion. Which future American president was director of the CIA from 1976 to 1977?
George Bush Sr.
Yes, which country's national rugby union side is nicknamed the Cherry Blossoms?
Japan.
Yes, who succeeded Kenneth Clark as Home Secretary, a post he held until the 1997 general election?
Pass.
Which board game was originally called Lexico and later Criss Crosswords?
Scrabble.
Yes. Chisinau is the capital of which former Soviet republic?
Moldova.
Yes. What term, thought to derive from the drawing from a hat in an old lottery game, is applied to the imposition of special advantages or disadvantages on a sporting competitor?
Lottery.
Handicap. Which notable poet who died in 1985 was librarian at Hull University from 1955?
Philip Larkin.
Yes. In which ancient building method were wooden stakes woven with branches and covered with clay or mud?
Wattle and Daub.
Yes. Which pop group was named by Wayne Fontana after a 1963 psychological horror drama starring Dirk Bogarde?
The Servant.
The Mindbenders. Which name for the United States flag is said to have been first used by William Driver, skipper of the brig Charles Doggett, in 1831?
Stars and Stripes.
Old Glory. Which common word meaning things of little importance comes from the Latin for junction of 3 ways?
Trivia.
Yes. Which Austrian-born Hollywood actress helped invent a communication system first registered in 1942 that is still used in military satellite operations and in mobile phones?
Schmidt.
Hedy Lamarr. 1 pass. Michael Howard was Home Secretary. 1 pass, but Mark Grant, you have 29 points. And now Ian Mackillop, finally, please. And that great writer-up, Evelyn Waugh, sort of on a trilogy of humorous stories?
Well, I think it was very funny in parts, you know. I think it suffered from losing the most humorous character, which was Apthorpe in the first book. I think it never, you know, got... The The other two weren't never quite as funny as the first two because that bit wasn't there.
But he was trying to do more than tell a funny story.
Oh yes, I mean it was a corrective to the war films and the war stories that were everywhere in the 50s when he was writing this. You know, and it was all glory and dambusters and heroism, and he said, well, there's quite a lot of office politics and backbiting and, you know, brutality and general, you know, cruelty that's, you know, everybody's forgotten about, and I think I should remind them.
But Waugh himself wasn't exactly a nice bloke, was he?
Not at all. I mean, I'm not one of that school of thought that thinks that, you know, a creative artist, in order to be any good, has to share your political opinions. Actually, I don't agree with Evelyn Waugh about anything much, but I really admire his writing, his skill, his craftsmanship is absolutely fantastic.
Right. 29 points you have to beat, and at the moment you have 17. Let's see if you can do it. 2 minutes on general knowledge, starting now. What name, literally meaning belly cut, was given to the method of suicide practiced by disgraced Japanese samurai?
Kamikaze.
Harakiri. Which record-breaking athlete was Master of Pembroke College, Oxford, from 1985 until 1993?
Roger Bannister?
Yes. Used in heating devices and cell phones, what name is given to electromagnetic waves which lie between infrared and ultra-high radio waves?
Microwaves?
Yes. The North American rattlesnake, Crotalus cerastes, shares a name with which air-to-air missile?
The Stinger?
Sidewinder. What was the name of the nun whose third successful BBC television art series Story of Painting was shown in 1996?
Sister Wendy.
Yes. The score of which opera by Berlioz features the newly invented sax horn in the symphonic interlude Royal Hunt and Storm, where Dido and Aeneas make love?
Carthage?
No, Les Troyens à Carthage. Animal, the drummer in The Muppet Show, is said to be based on which rock drummer who died in 1978?
Keith Moon.
Yes. Which eccentric American businessman, aviator and movie mogul built an 8-engine wooden flying boat called Spruce Goose?
Howard Hughes.
Correct. Which film director made the first of many cameo appearances in his 1926 film The Lodger?
Hitchcock.
Yes. What is the common name for a furuncle, an acute inflammation around a hair follicle with one opening for drainage?
Is it?
Boyle. What is the name of the ship from which Gulliver is first shipwrecked in Gulliver's Travels?
The Sappho?
Antelope. Which racecourse in Berkshire is the only one in Britain situated on land officially owned by the Crown?
Ascot.
Correct. What is the name of the political party that was founded by Robert Kilroy Silk when he left the UK Independence Party in January 2005?
Veritas.
Yes. Which adventurous niece of Pitt the Younger was celebrated for her travels in the Middle East, which included travelling with the Bedouins to Palmyra?
Hester Stanhope.
Yes. In which country is Europe's largest glacier, Vatna Jökull, which began to melt in October 1996 after a volcano erupted beneath it?
Iceland?
Yes. Which Irish writer's sixth novel, Artemis Fowl, was described as Die Hard with Fairies?
Jonathan Swift.
Ian Colfer. Paris is served by 2 international airports. Charles de Gaulle is one. Which is the other?
Orly.
Orly is correct. You had no passes. Ian Mackillop, you have 28 points. So that's it. Let's have a look at the scores. In 4th place with 21 points, Peter Richardson. In 3rd place, 24 points, Isabelle Heward. 2nd place, 28 points, Ian Mackillop. 1st place, 29 points, Mark Grant. So we shall be seeing Mark Grant next time when he takes his place in our grand final. Congratulations to him. Do join us next time for more Masterminds. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Birds and berries, 2 of the bees on the A to Z of TV gardening next year on BBC Two. Then Nigel Slater chats to actress Alex Kingston for a taste of my life at 3:45. And at 4:15, injecting some life and warmth into the polar regions as spring arrives with Frozen Planet.